Welcome back. So you can see that I went ahead and got the primer and the paint today, but I went ahead and put the primer along the areas where I have my seams to see how well that's actually going to work out, or if I'm going to need to fair some more. I'm sure I could always fair, but frankly that gets expensive. So I'm going to see if this primer and paint will go ahead and cover it up pretty good. And I'll show you here in a minute the primer and paint I'm using. But that's what we got. So I also went ahead and tried various areas that I thought that I wanted to paint, just to see how the primer is going to take to that and what imperfections or whatever needs would be showing through. This is a piece of cloth that has no fairing compound on it, and I know some may say, oh, it looks like absolute doo-doo. I'm not too terribly worried about it. Once again, it's the bottom of the boat. Nobody's really going to see it, and all I'm worried about is water getting in. So if it seals it up pretty good, that's good enough for me. And as long as it's not too god-awful craggy, but it's not. So I can live with that, and I think that after a few coats of paint, it'll be fine. But we're going to find that out here in a little bit. Over here, I did use it on, I did prime over some fairing compound and the fabric, and it definitely shows a little bit more, perhaps a bit more than I wanted to, but once again it's on the bottom. So I'm going to roll some coats of paint on that and see how well that takes. So there we are. That's what that is. Yet again another audible. I know, right? Surprise, surprise. But the stem, I went ahead and applied more fairing compound on it. Yay, more epoxy and talc. So, just trying to fair out the rough edges and fair it into the hull just a little better, because it will be very visible, and that is the area that I definitely want to make sure we get right. And over here, much the same thing. But I think it's coming along rather well, so I can't complain too terribly much. And even if I did, nobody would care, right? So that's where we're at. Went ahead today, went in earlier this morning for a wonderful Lowe's trip, and got some. Let's see if you can see it here. Some of this Valspar. This is the primer, exterior grade primer and sealer, and this is the paint. And I don't know if you can tell, but that's the color it's going to be. So kind of a bluish gray, something I kind of like. So that's kind of what happened this morning. And the reason for this, the reason that I went ahead with this exterior stuff, is because that's what Mark suggests. He suggests a good latex enamel exterior base paint. And if you know anything about paints and stuff, you'll know that marine paint is extremely cost prohibitive. It's just ridiculous. I think for a quart it's like $30, and yeah, that's okay. This boat's already set me back enough. I don't need to go bankrupt. A little bit of a windy day. But that's where we're at, guys. That's the news that is news. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to roll this paint and see how well that takes. And I might even apply several coats to determine how well that'll work out. But that's where we're at, and I'll catch y'all in a bit. Well, here we are. One coat of exterior grade latex enamel applied. And it doesn't look too terribly bad, I don't think. I think I can live with that, at least after applying several coats. So there's that. There's this side. So I think we'll be okay. Like I said, just may apply several more coats. And once again, the bottom looks about like you'd expect, but once again, it's the bottom. And I even had an idea, and I'm going to vex it to you guys, and that is getting some of that Flex Seal paint stuff, and using that as bottom coat. I don't foresee a reason why that wouldn't work that well, and I can't help but think it would work better than this exterior grade stuff on the bottom. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But nonetheless, I will go ahead and cost compare, because it might not be it might be cost prohibitive, a lot like the marine bottom paint, which is the best stuff to use. So we'll see. We shall see. But anyways, that's what it looks like right now with a coat of primer and a coat of paint on it. So at least on these areas. So I'm mildly encouraged. I don't want to get too carried away, because as with everything, and what I have found out on this project is it can all go horribly south in a very short amount of time. So we'll see. We shall see. But anyways, that's where we're at, and I will catch you guys up later.